Welcome to Unbottled Secrets, the podcast where my truth becomes your entertainment. I'm Fakira. So, I planned on recording and releasing the forgiveness episode this week. I had my talking points and everything, but God definitely had other plans. And maybe it's because I've been binge listening to the Dear Future Wifey podcast or the Cuffing Season series by Pastor Jerry Flowers. Or maybe it's because Valentine's Day is literally around the corner. So I figured it's the perfect time to talk about love or the lack thereof. But before we jump in, we gotta set the atmosphere with our verse of the day. Since it's the day of love, the scripture for today is all about God's love. The verse comes from 1 John chapter 4, verse 16. So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. So how do I start? At 28, it is with my deepest regret to admit that I have still never been a guy's girlfriend. It's never happened. Have I had talking stages? Yeah, of course. Have I had some friends with small benefits? Unfortunately. Have I encountered some potential? A few. But a girlfriend? Nah. But alas, here we are in the last few years of my 20s, and my relationship status has yet to change. And I don't want to say this to, invoke a pity party of some sort, because this isn't that. Honestly, I am in a place in my life where I embrace singleness. It's the best place for me right now. And I remember reading the Bible. I think it was like, Paul definitely said it. Wait, 1 second. Let me get the accurate verbiage. So Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 7, singleness is a gift. I wish that all were as I myself am. Now, unlike Paul, I actually do desire marriage. And I thank God I've come this far in my exploration of dating, of, meeting men and enjoying my 20s without a baby, without baggage, and without that many scratches. So a win is a win. But now that I'm on my Christian journey, I know this season, singleness, is important, especially since I've never actually had an intentional single season. I was just single, honestly. And speaking of which, let's talk about what a season actually is. A season is a period of time orchestrated by God that He allows you to go through for character and spiritual development. Why is that important? Because a lot of the time We want to rush these seasons because it's uncomfortable and it doesn't align with our own personal timelines. And trust me, when you try to rush the process, which I've done numerous times, you're bound to repeat it. I.e., being single for 10 plus years, right? Unintentionally. One day we will discuss why I've been forever unpartnered. I've done a YouTube video about this years ago, and I think I wasn't even 25 yet, right? So that's very interesting to see that I'm in the same predicament that I am in now. But anywho, one day I will indulge you all and tell you why I've been single this long, especially from this lens that I'm at now. I can be a lot more honest with myself because a lot of it was definitely on me. But anywho, for this episode, we're going to talk about the season that is the most dreaded, but it is so vital, and that is singleness. Now, if you're listening to this and you're single like me, hearts, we're in this together. Si se puede. Yes, we can get through it. Period. What is wrong with me? But here are 4 ways I believe you can take advantage of to be intentional in this season. The first is focus on building your relationship with God, because we are the brides of Christ after all. How can we prepare to be a spouse if we can't perfect the relationship that should be the most important to us? So during this season, you want to make sure that you're in your word, you're reading the Bible, you're praying and in constant communication with God. And one thing that could help us by finding a Christian community, whether that's a church, whether that's small groups, what have you, and be in constant worship with God. Pastor Jerry Flowers says it the best. He says the problem and the solution lies within your routine. And if you can't make time for God, how can you truly make time for a spouse? So focus on your relationship with God, number 1. Number 2, I would say work on yourself. Honestly, up until this year, I was so anxious to be partnered that I missed out on some vital time and the opportunity to truly get to know myself. I only equated my self-worth through the eyes and through the gaze of a man, right? And that's really dangerous because it makes you easily bendable and moldable to a man. So you're always compromising who you are to fit what they want you to be. Honestly, singleness is an opportunity to get to know yourself, learn your passions, figure out some new hobbies, and this is the last period of time you can truly just think about yourself, right? You can be selfish because the only person you're answering to in your singleness is God. So explore, travel, and have some good, saved fun. The third thing you'll want to do is be honest about your desires. If you're anything like me, you have your list of your ideal partner. And if you're also like me, you didn't consult God before creating that list. And in your singleness, this is your chance to review the list or create one if you don't have one. Seek God's wisdom in what an ideal spouse would be, could look like, and what would work for you. So I'm actually in the process of doing that, and I have my list created. And next to those attributes, I have a Bible verse attached to it. And that's to ensure that my desires aren't just vanity metrics, right? It's not because I want someone who is tall, dark, and handsome. No, I have attributes that I can tie back to scripture. So when that man comes to me, I know it's based on God because I can reference back to his word. So be honest about your desires. And lastly, I would say be content. For years, actually up until this year, I wanted to be in a relationship so bad. I would spend time imagining my wedding. Every guy I would meet, I would just assume he was going to be my boyfriend. And when it did not happen, I was distraught. And I would question God so much, asking him when it's going to be my time. When is my love going to come? Am I going to spend yet another Valentine's Day alone? And the idea of being in a relationship was so much more important to me than my actual relationship with God. And we all know God is a jealous God. And you know what he did? Swiftly remove that idol away from me. Disappointment after disappointment after disappointment until I realized, going back to point number 1, that I need to focus on the relationship with my Creator. And in retrospect, that delay, all of the delays, all of the stop signs, all of the red lights, all of the years of being single, all of the Valentine's Day that I was unpartnered was needed because I was going down a very, very dangerous and dark path. So, singleness is a blessing. It's a blessing. Paul said it, right? And I wholeheartedly believe that on the other side of this season is a beautiful covenant made perfect for me. The man that God sends my way, and he may already be here. Wink, 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 wink. But I'm not rushing it. I'm content where I'm at now. I am planted. Yes. So until that time comes, I will gladly rest and enjoy the wait. And with that being said, that is the episode. I truly hope you enjoyed it. If this is your first time listening, please, 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 please subscribe to the pod. I am just a young woman sharing my life and being transparent and vulnerable. And if you're rocking with it, join the family. And if you're really locked in and there ain't no switching up, follow me on my social media platforms. They will be listed in the episode description. If you have any questions for me or just want to get to know your girl, you can slide in my DMs on my social media platforms. Share if you care, and I will talk to you later. Bye.